Welcome y'all back to Whiplash TV. Thanks for coming back to check out another video here on the channel. I appreciate y'all for coming back, and some of y'all may be brand new if you're into side-by-sides, and for those of y'all who are usually here on the channel watching the video, I know this is just a little bit different since usually I'm doing something to one of my cars or one of my trucks, but I just picked up this 2021 Can-Am Defender Max Lone Star Edition HD10 side-by-side. As many of y'all may know, I do tuning with HB Tuners on GM vehicles, and HB Tuners just started supporting Can-Ams, also Polaris's too. But today we're going to go over the Can-Am, and I'm going to give you a look at what it takes to read a tune off of one of these vehicles. As some of y'all may know, HB Tuners just released a cable that you can purchase, and you can use that with an MPVI 2 or 3 and their beta software to read and write tunes to your Can-Am. So today I'm going to show you what it takes to read the tune on your Can-Am side-by-side. Let's hop right into it. For those of you watching and are a tuner like myself, you will already have a laptop and you will already have HB Tuner software. You will simply have to make sure that you have downloaded the most recent HB Tuners beta software from off of their website. You can do that very easily by going to the HB Tuners webpage and going to downloads right up here. That will take you to this page, and then you will want to download the beta VCM suite over there on the right hand side. You will also need an HB Tuners MPVI 2 or MPVI 3 to read the tune, and then you will need the Can-Am specific cable. This part of the cable will plug right into your MPVI 2. Just like that. And then this end will hook right up to the Can-Am diagnostic port underneath the hood of the vehicle. There will be a link in the video description that you can go to order an MPVI 2, MPVI 3, or this Can-Am cable. So in order to get to the Can-Am diagnostic port, which is up under here, we have to open up this hood, and that's done by pulling straight towards you. And then after you pull it forward towards you, then you will lift it up. Lift it up enough till you hear that click, and it will lock in and hold the hood up for you. Just to give you a visual, when you pull back on this hood, you're pulling this right here out of this rubber grommet right here. Now that our hood is open, we can pull out the Can-Am diagnostic port right here. It is simply held into the plastic right there. Next, we'll take our HB Tuners cable and connect it to our side-by-side. Now that we're connected under here, we can hook it up to our laptop. Next, we'll need to turn our machine to the on position. It will stay in the on position, and we will click on the read vehicle button. And then I always like to click gather info first. And you will see that it will bring up your ECM and your operating system, and you will have to be connected to the internet. So now that we're connected to the internet and hooked up to our machine with it in the on position, we will click read, and do not be surprised if it gives you a failure the first time. It has done this to me the first time that I clicked read each time on this machine. Click read again. and for some reason it will generally go through on the second try. It will then give you this box here that it will tell you that the tune file that you've just been supplied is a stock tune file, because this control module is not readable. It is perfectly safe to use. If this module has been previously tuned, you will lose any existing changes. So we click OK, and then it will have you save the tune file. Once you've saved the tune file, it will then open it up, and then you'll be able to take a look at the entire tune. Now you can turn the machine back to off. Now that we've read the tune, I'm going to just real quickly go through the tune and show y'all what the tune looks like. This was one thing that I was really interested in. Obviously, being a tuner, you always wonder how different machines and different types of vehicles are set up. So when you look at a tune for like a General Motors vehicle versus a Ford or versus a Dodge, they're set up quite differently. So let's go through here real quick and take a look at it. This is what's on the General tab. There's not really much there that you'd mess with probably. Under Idle, you have General. You have the enable time for it to start idling. Under RPM, you have a bunch of different runtime versus engine coolant temperature, idle RPM that you can change and manipulate in here. Lots of tables for that. Also some adaptive idle tables. Here you have idle torque reserve tables. Now this will remind you, if you're used to General Motors, of the like 2014 and up GM trucks and the way that some of their stuff is set up. Next we have the airflow tab, and these machines do not have a mass airflow sensor. They are all set up on speed density, and there are several speed density tables. This is what they look like. They are engine RPM by manifold pressure, so something that you can be pretty used to if you're used to General Motors speed density. There's the speed density table. Here's the airflow electronic throttle table. Now in here we can see some pretty interesting things, such as your max throttle opening versus RPM. So this is obviously one place that you can gain a good bit on these machines. So it's going to give you 100% throttle from 4,500 RPM to 6,900 RPM, but then it tapers off once you hit 7,100 RPM and above, and you don't get full throttle till that 4,500 RPM. So from 1,000 to 4,000 it's tapered off as well. So obviously whenever you can get 100% throttle on your machine, that's going to make some difference. Here we have exhaust temperature. There's some tables for that. Next, under fuel, you have some general stuff, which is your injector data, your stoic AFR. You have your oxygen sensor setup, also long-term fuel trims. Here's your open loop and base tab. Then you also have a power enrichment section. Those who tune vehicles know that you have power enrichment there too, so this is somewhat familiar as well. Here's your temperature control. You have EGT, spark retard over here. You got some catalytic converter and exhaust manifold protection stuff in here. Just like other gas vehicles, under the cutoff DFCO tab, you do have your RPM limits. You have also just master, disable, enable type things for like oil low, VSS error, vehicle stability fault, key-based torque limits, stuff like that. Anytime that you go read and look, like on EVP's website, they talk about raising the rev limiter. I believe they raise it like 500 RPM. Then you have a transient tab, and then now we'll get into Spark. So in Spark, you do have a low octane right here, and then you also have some base tables, also high altitude. So like here is a base timing table for this machine. So it goes by engine load and then by RPM. You have that table, and then this is base variant 1. You also have other limits here that you might be used to on other vehicles, such as your IAT temperature, your engine coolant temperature, minimum final spark. You also have tip-in retard over here. Here's our retard tab. You also have your dwell tab. Here's the spark knock sensor tab. You also have your torque model general tab, and then also the torque model loss tab. Then over here you have the good old torque management tab. There is a master enable disable torque limit switch. There's also several different variants here, and some of your things are in here of like low octane, coolant temperature, low oil pressure, battery voltage, gear based, lots of different things that also have a master enable disable just by whether it's set with a 0 or a 1. You have your powertrain protection half shaft saver right here. Also you have your driver demand, so over here you have your pedal follower. So this is going to be something that a lot of people will also probably change. So you have your engine speed RPM on this axis, and then on this one you have your accelerator pedal position percentage. So lots of people are going to change this, I imagine, so that then they can get a little bit more of a responsive gas pedal. So that's where that can be found. You also have your transmission tab, which the only thing it has is a torque management general tab. You've got your max torque and some other limits in here that can be changed. You have your system here, which has your fans. Another thing, if you look on other websites, you'll see that this is also something that EVP or other websites that are doing tunes for these machines, they're lowering the engine coolant fan temperature and all that, so then your rig stays running cooler. And you have a general tab as well over here. You also have your speedometer, so when they say that Vmax is raised on this machine, Vmax, all they're talking about is your speed limiter. I don't know exactly why they say Vmax, but anyhow, here is your stuff for like if the seat belt is not latched, then you're limited to 12 miles per hour. You have other tables in here too, which are going to set up how fast you can actually go on this machine. Lots of different tables in here to look at. I'll also show you just briefly that under the engine diagnosis, there is your general tab. There's also your airflow tab, misfires, and your DTCs, which is your codes for a whole bunch of different things. So all that looks pretty normal. You also have trans diagnosis, but under the transmission diagnosis, there is nothing. Y'all, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel and ringing that notifications bell. That way you get notified every time that I post a new video. Also, please hit a thumbs up on this video. And if it was helpful or if you enjoyed it, drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. And also let me know if you'd be interested in a part 2 of this video on writing the tune to the Can-Am Defender. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.